Hi, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Nario. Dr. Nario, thanks for being with us.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
All right, so as you know, if you've been watching this channel, Dr. Nario is with the Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. You can check him out online and see all the different treatments and cool things they do there, kind of from a holistic standpoint. So, we're going to talk about soy. And boy, you were talking about some different research and stuff, but what you were telling me off camera really makes sense because no matter what it is, people can take something good and process it and ruin it.
Hmm.
So let's talk about soy. Is it Does it lower your testosterone? Does it mess up your estrogen? Give me your initial thoughts on soy.
Right. So, Steve, soy has been out in the market for the longest time, and it has been surrounded with so much controversies. And now let's probably put some light into that. So at least our audience, or even us ourselves, can get educated more about this special plant, right? Or a plant source. And majority of the sources of soy, let's trim it down and be more specific. Examples would be edamame, soy milk, tofu, tempeh, and miso. So you've been hearing a lot of this lately, and out there in the protein world, it's protein, soy protein isolate and concentrate. So I always want to emphasize that when you hear isolate, you have 90% or more soy in that specific product versus a concentrate, which is only 65%. So when you look at a label, that's what it means. And majority of the time, soy is used as a base to make meat, dairy substitutes, and even to like boost protein content in commonly consumed foods. And it plays a huge role, soybeans specifically, in the US and the world food supply. It's used as an animal feed, especially soybean oil and soy protein and soy foods. And there's just so many nutritional benefits in relation to soy. The bigger problem here are actually the issues later on that we will answer in relation to the trivial facts about soy and the harms and the benefits that it does. It's just a brief background on what soy is.
Okay, so tell me what types of soy or forms of soy would not be harmful in any way to eat.
Right. So, Steve, the ones that I mentioned to you again, the specific soy sources that we know about, which are the edamames, right, the tofus. These are the ones that I was telling you that actually had built a big controversy. Meaning, oh man, don't eat soy because why? It's because it's GMO based. Majority of the soy made here in the U.S. is actually GMO. The thing here is when you talk about GMO, you always think about why did they make it GMO? For like glyphosate not to actually destroy these products and also be resistant to these specific pesticides. That's why I was telling you that the bad rap of soy came from the industrialization of our products or commercialization. When we do these specific things for mass production, now soy becomes more harmful for us. And this is where now, yes, can lead to cancer, can lead to cardiovascular diseases, it can lead to so many bad things, not because of soy itself, but what the soy went through in terms of processing. And this is, yeah, adding the genetic modification. Now, yeah, glyphosate in our crops. But if we just eat pure soy, and I was telling you a while ago that majority of the consumers of soy and the highest would be in Asian countries. And number one would be, of course, who else? Japan, right? Which is actually consuming 50 milligrams a day of soy foods versus Canada, which is less than 1%, at least it's not us, that actually benefits from the purest of pure, the cleanest of the clean, which are not actually talking about the harmful effects of specific estrogen problems of soy.
That totally makes sense. So you go and you eat sushi and you have that soy sauce little container there.
Hmm.
They've ruined that soy sauce, haven't they?
Unfortunately. So, and then they say that it's low sodium, right? And they always put the I guess it's like all like salt, yeah, the no preservatives. Hopefully it is, but rarely all these soy that we go through really are not in the best of shape or quality.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you don't recommend that you go through the grocery store, go down the middle aisles and grab the soy sauce
Right.
off the shelf because it's been processed. It's been processed in to me means ruined.
Well, the one thing that our audiences can probably be I guess be not so afraid about is when they actually get a soy product and it's actually vouched for as organic and it's actually unprocessed, and you will see that in the ingredient list of the product, and also of course knowing the source where it came from. For example, you're in Japan, for sure you can go crazy on the soy there because you know that it's not as contaminated as what we have here in the US. So knowing and understanding and having a good education about soy sources will be your best weapon for that.
That is amazing and certainly not surprising to me that we're in the US and I don't know why they have to ruin everything with pesticides and sprays and but if you're getting as almost always, I mean, if you're buying bread, that bread is processed, but you can make healthy bread. There's places where you can buy healthy bread that isn't going to have all these seed oils and stuff in there.
Hmm.
And so I guess what you're saying, which is it does. I mean, it totally makes sense that there is healthy soy also, and it's healthy if you eat it in its natural form, where it hasn't been manipulated. Is
Right.
that right?
That
Yeah.
is correct. That is correct.
So help us understand a little bit how and you talked a little bit about soy protein powders and all that. Again, it's probably processed,
Hmm.
but talk to us a little bit about how do we know that we're getting a healthy form of soy?
Hmm. Well, when you talk about that, Steve, the healthy form of soy, as I mentioned to you, is the purest one. So well, the only thing we can rely on this commercial world that we have are the labels that we look at. Of course, non-GMO, organic, and reading labels. Those are kind of like security guards to make sure that we're not going to fail in the system of choosing the right form of soy. And the thing here is it's really more of understanding the benefits of soy. A good example for you would be the controversy of soy in relation to stimulating hormones, right? So in actually in the stereotype of soy, it's saying that, oh, it's going to aggravate cancer, right? And this should be avoided by cancer patients. And that's the thing. In specific randomized controlled trials, they showed that the soy contains what we call phytoestrogens or isoflavones, right? And these are what we call plant estrogens. And this is different clinically from the estrogen that we create as humans that aggravates cancer. And when they found out that, in accordance to the studies, the results actually provided a strong relation or rational thinking that the soy isoflavones actually exerts health benefits rather than harmful benefits in the hormone milieu or balance of the patient. For example, it does not even affect the uterine lining. It doesn't affect any follicles in the ovaries, or even does not even move the needle of your estrogen levels. So that's why it's actually being used as cancer prevention for breast, prostate, even used for anti wrinkles, even arterial health, even hot flashes, cognitive and memory benefits. And I told you, if you're using the wrong type of soy, if you do a blood test and you're taking this type of soy and your estrogens go up, then there's probably something going on with your specific source because it shouldn't be happening. So that's one of kind of like the tips in a more clinical way that I probably look at this through my patients when I ask for a blood test. So what are you eating? What's your main protein source, especially for vegans and vegetarians? These are the ones that they kind of go for. So I guess that's really more on my clinical perspective.
So, can you go to the store? Can you go to the grocery store down the road from your clinic? Are you comfortable going to? You have a Whole Foods there,
Hmm.
pretty close to your clinic.
Right.
Are you comfortable going in? Can you find a soy sauce or some type of soy that you would eat and feel comfortable that it's healthy? Can you find that in that grocery store?
I think there is. So these are even in maybe I don't want to say soy sauce, but I do have like for example aminos I like to use. But for the commercial ones, especially for the low sodium ones, I still am scratching my head about those. I would rather again see labels, read ingredients rather than just relying on, hey, this is good. It says on a sticker, it says on a blog, right? So that's why you read your own research about a specific product that you have. But I'm telling you, there's hope out there that there is a product that you can definitely rely on as a safe soy source. It's just that, for example, you go to, I'm not dissing any Chinese restaurants, right? But they serve you tofu. Where did it come from? I don't know. It came in a box. So they couldn't even answer that question for you. And you have a miso soup. Like, all right, who made that? What's in it? I don't know. It just served like that. So if those questions are answers given to you through those questions, that's probably not a good source. That's probably, again, this is my take, not for everybody.
Yeah, it totally makes sense what you're saying though, because when you process it, and a lot of times I ask, like you go if they're getting a lot of their ingredients directly from Japan, or if I noticed there's some Italian restaurants that get their flour and their ingredients directly from Italy.
Hmm.
That is not processed like the Italian restaurant down the road that is not getting their ingredients from Italy.
Right.
So, what's what things do you normally see on a label that are a red flag?
So in relation to reading labels, you really have to understand that it cannot be ultra processed. So when you talk about ultra processed, let me give you an example here. It would be, those meat replacements that are plant based or soy based. And these things are actually, of course, composed of soy, pea, wheat. And the thing here is, these were processed already in the sense that this is not the purest soy because it got crunched in with so many different things. And when you talk about this, it's really now becoming of a an all-in-one package of everything, just to make things easier for you. And when you, as I mentioned before, that if you read the labels and you don't understand what it means, and if there's so many things on an ingredient list, and there's just numbers and chemicals and fillers that you just don't recognize, those are red flags. And these are the things that you probably should watch out for. But I want to give that specific emphasis to the plant-based meat alternatives, and this is where soy also is correlated to giving it a bad rap.
So you're saying that the processed soy proteins, or whatever you want to call it, the
Mhm.
meat replacement, you're saying that that's processed and probably not good.
Definitely not a good idea. As I said, if you want soy, you definitely want to see just soy on your label, not mixed with like peas, I mean wheat, or even caking agents to make them all like crunch up together. If you're buying just soy and it's all organic, hey, cut that soy up, do it whatever you want with it. It's at least you
Right,
saw soy in front of you,
right,
or tofu, right, or tempeh. It's not like, oh, it's tempeh mixed in some good stuff, which you probably wouldn't see anymore. Then you only see and taste the good stuff.
right. I get it. So if you're gonna cook or something and you're getting organic soy from some of the sources you mentioned, then you're probably okay.
Right.
Now, last question. I've heard that soybean oil is like the worst of the seed oils.
hmm
What do you have to say about that?
So there's some truth behind that. The reason for that is soybean oil has a very high oxidation, capacity, meaning it can be oxidized. It's not different with cottonseed oil. I'm sure you heard of those, cottonseed oil and even canola oil. So these are very highly oxidative types of oils that kind of disrupts the omega 3 omega 6 balance. And when you uh, touch that balance in a bad way, you now turn your body into a more inflammatory state. And that's where now problems such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and even inflammation in your blood vessels occur. And to top that off, these specific plant oils that you just mentioned are the most common in the sense that pesticides are actually added to these specific plant-based oils when they're getting processed. So you're not only getting the oxidation of these oils when you warm it up. Now add those chemicals in there to add double black eye effect on the person.
Wow, sounds horrible.
Right.
Okay, so doctor, as always, we appreciate your input, and this is a fascinating topic. But thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Steve, for having me again. It's always a pleasure, as you know, and as we all know, that knowledge is power. And thank you for letting me provide you with edge and longevity and health maintenance, which I call the biological edge or the bio edge.